Chapter 1. Her dog barked as Penny Flanders' alarm clock buzzed. That was strange. Lucy, her German Shepherd, rarely barked this early in the morning. This time of day, Penny normally found Lucy sitting at the edge of her bed, patiently staring at her, waiting for her to wake. Lucy considered it her job to assist her master in waking, if the alarm didn't do its job. Penny lay in the bed, bleary-eyed and confused, until she heard Lucy yelp in pain and whine pitifully. Now, wide awake, she lay perfectly still, listening intently. Realizing there was an intruder in the house, she slowly rolled to her left and got out of bed. Quietly, she crept to the door. She heard footsteps on the stairs and knew it was only a matter of time before the intruder reached the bedroom. Panic rose in her chest as Penny slowly closed and locked her bedroom door. Then she propped a chair against it, hoping the police would come before the intruder could get in. Grabbing her cordless phone from the bedside table, she decided to hide in the master bathroom. Penny locked the bathroom door and called 911. She sat down on the side of the tub and held the phone to her ear, waiting for it to connect. Silence. It wasn't ringing. She held the phone out, looking at it, as though it had offended her. Pushing the off button, then the on button, she placed the phone to her ear, hoping for the dial tone. Nothing. Her heart started pounding like a timpani drum, and she feared the sound of it would betray her location. She berated herself for leaving her purse downstairs with her cell phone in it, stripping her of all options. Sure Lucy was dead, Penny trembled at the thought of being next. Something acidic rose in her gullet. She swallowed hard to stop it from coming any further. The bathroom had no window for escape. Even if she went back to the bedroom, it was a long drop from the second story to the ground. No way could she do it without injuring herself, giving the intruder an advantage. If she had just listened to her brother when he advised her to get that roll-up ladder in case of a fire, she could have escaped and roused a neighbor. Penny jumped, and a new wave of terror flooded her veins. She thought she might die of a heart attack before the intruder had a chance to get to her. That had to be the bedroom door coming down. Penny sat frozen on the edge of the tub, unable to move or speak, praying God wouldn't let her go out like this, murdered in her own home by a stranger. She could hear the intruder banging and scraping as he climbed over the debris. Then he called to her in a sing-song voice.
You mustn't lock yourself away, not like you did me when I was young. It isn't very pleasant, is it? But at least you have water. Come out now. Come out and see me.
This was bizarre. Lock him away? Come out and see me? What the hell was he talking about? Do I know him? He pounded on the bathroom door. Penny leapt and ran to the far side of the room. She hit the wall as though she could vanish through it like a ghost. It didn't work. With her back to the wall, she slid down to the floor, tears of terror in her eyes.
Open the door,
he demanded in an angrier voice.
It's very tiresome for me to have to break it down when you know I'll get in one way or the other.
Frozen with fear, she couldn't open it even if she wanted to do so.
Have it your way.
Penny ducked and threw her arms over her head as the door slammed down and small pieces of wood and metal pelted her. She didn't want to look at the monster. Don't hurt me, she pleaded. Please don't hurt me.
I wouldn't think of it.
His voice was deep and sinister.
Unlike me, you won't feel a thing.
(111 and 110).
Chapter 2. Homicide Detective Erika Barnes stood outside the doorway of the 2-story frame house, watching Patrol Officer Lloyd try his best to keep reporters behind the crime scene tape. CSI techs were searching for evidence from the grounds. Her partner and shift supervisor, Detective Brent Freeman, had just arrived on scene. Detective Bays had Freeman sign the log sheet. Then he and Erika went in through the open door. Who found the body? This is how Freeman often greeted his partner. They'd been working homicide together for the past 5 years. Bays and Samuels were the first responders, said Erika. I spoke briefly with Bays. He said the dog walker found the victim. She's over there sitting in the living room with Kendall. She's pretty shaken up. I'm sure she is, Freeman agreed. Probably not more than 25, is she? Expecting to drop in and take the dog for a nice walk. Instead, she finds her employer murdered. By the way, where is the dog? Erika checked her notes. Dog walker found the dog just inside the back door, unconscious. Vet just took her away. Said he'll call us with an injury report later. Looks like the back door is where the bastard entered. Victim is Penny Flanders, age 32. Happened in the master bedroom upstairs. Again, first on the scene were patrol officers Donovan Bays and Ann Samuels. Bays said the dog walker was hysterical. Samuels asked her to have a seat in the living room while they secured the scene. Bays checked the perimeter and started a log. Samuels stayed close to the girl until Kendall arrived. I haven't been upstairs yet, but I heard it's a mess. Okay, Barnes. Sounds like we've got a lot of work to do, said Freeman. You're the lead on this one. Where do you want me to start? I'll go see how Kendall is doing with our witness. You get started upstairs. I want to get your observations down before the death investigator moves the body and the crime scene team starts collecting evidence. Erika appreciated her longtime partner and shift supervisor's show of confidence and respect. She headed towards the living room as he ascended the stairs. The young blonde-haired woman sat on the couch, wiping her eyes with a tissue as she conversed with Detective Chanel Kendall. Erika hated seeing someone so young affected by such horrendous cruelty. After 9 years on the force, 6 of them in homicide, she still wasn't used to the depraved actions of some who dare to call themselves human beings. Detective Kendall arose when Erika entered the room. She was tall, slender, and dark-skinned, with silky black hair and dark eyes. Erika always thought Chanel looked more like a fashion model than a homicide detective. Detective Barnes, this is Felicity Harden, said Kendall. She was employed to take care of Miss Flanders' German Shepherd. Miss Harden, this is Detective Barnes, who is also the homicide unit of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. She's the lead detective on this case, and I'm sure she has a few questions for you. Okay, said Felicity, sniffing, clearing her throat. Kendall, go keep an eye out for the death investigator and show him upstairs. You got it, Kendall said as she headed for the front door. I won't keep you long, Miss Harden. I know this is a very difficult ordeal, Erika began. You've probably already told Detective Kendall and the other officers your story. I'm sorry to have to ask you to repeat it, but it's very important. Well, like I told Detective Kendall, I always walk Lucy between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday, while Penny's working. She usually leaves the house at about 7:30 in the morning and is back by 6:30 at night. Felicity stopped. Her lips were quivering as she wiped the stream of tears from her cheeks. This afternoon I got here at 2:10. When I walked up to the back door, I could see the glass was broken and the door was ajar. I wasn't sure if I should come in. I was scared someone might still be in the house, but then... She paused again, closing her eyes momentarily. Please, take your time, Miss Harden, said Erika. As upset as Felicity was, Erika wanted to keep her calm and focused so she'd remember more details. I pushed the door open a little, and I saw her lying there. Lucy, I mean. At first, I thought she was dead. Then I realized she was breathing, but unconscious. I was in such a panic, I couldn't remember the vet's number, but I had it on my cell phone. I knew the vet made emergency house calls, so I called him. Before they took her away, I heard them say Lucy has a concussion and a broken hip and possibly some internal bleeding. She began to sob in earnest now. She was very fond of her charge. I hope I wasn't too late for her, too. I'm sure she'll be fine, Erika assured her. What happened after you called the vet? I don't know why, but I picked up Penny's kitchen phone to call 911. There was no dial tone, so I used my cell phone again. Felicity took in a deep breath before continuing. It was so quiet in the house, I thought the intruder must have left. While I was talking to the 911 operator, I started to walk through the house. I saw Penny's purse on the desk as I passed her home office, and then, well, I knew she must still be here. Then my cell phone battery died. I wished I'd listened and got out of the house like the 911 operator told me. I shouldn't have gone upstairs. She choked, her eyes widening in horror. Her voice became louder and more hysterical. I found Penny on the bed. And her eyes! Oh my God! What did he do to her eyes? I'll never stop seeing them as long as I live. How could someone do this to her? What sort of sick son of a bitch does something so... Erika shook her head. Even after all these years on the police force, she still had no satisfactory answer to such a question. To your knowledge, did Miss Flanders have any enemies? Ex-boyfriend? Angry neighbors? Asked Erika, still trying to keep Felicity focused. Penny never talked about that sort of thing to me, about her personal life. I liked her, but she was my employer. I walk dogs for a lot of people in the neighborhood. I've never had anyone say anything nasty about her. Thank you, Miss Harden. You're free to go now. We'll have an officer escort you home. Don't bother, Detective, said Felicity. I only live a couple of blocks from here. It was such a nice sunny day I decided to walk over. She stood, backpack in hand. Erika motioned for one of the uniformed officers. I want you to escort Miss Harden home. Then Erika turned to Felicity. Miss Harden, one or more of those reporters outside might follow you and corner you. For your safety and peace of mind, I insist you be escorted home. Oh, okay, said Felicity. I hadn't thought about the reporters. Also, Erika said as she touched Felicity's arm, please don't talk to anyone but the police about what you saw today. The details of a murder scene are very important in helping us capture a perpetrator. If the press gets a hold of this information, it could cause widespread panic or copycat murders. Do you understand? Yes, she said, tears welling in her eyes once more. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. Penny didn't deserve to die that way. It's horrible. I just want to forget it. Come along, Miss Harden. I won't let anyone harass you, stated the officer as she took Felicity's arm, guiding her to the front door. Erika then turned to see Kendall approaching from the living room. Did you talk to the first responders? Erika asked. Yes, answered Kendall. Samuels and Bays had everything under control when I arrived. Bays kept the reporters away until we could get some more officers in here to make sure that nobody crossed the line. I don't understand how they found out so quickly. Erika spotted Patrol Officer Donovan Bays with an officer she'd never seen before. Bays, she shouted, I need to ask you a few questions. No problem, said Bays. Have you met my new partner? Erika shook her head. This is Patrol Officer and Rookie Extraordinaire Ann Samuels, Bays said. Samuels, meet one of IMPD's finest homicide detectives, Erika Barnes. It's a pleasure to meet you, Samuels said. Erika nodded in acknowledgement, noting Samuels' enthusiasm. Samuels has dreams of becoming a top-notch homicide detective someday, said Bays. Erika saw Samuels redden with embarrassment. It doesn't hurt to have ambitions, said Erika, trying to encourage Samuels while admonishing Bays for embarrassing his partner. Now, it's my understanding, Bays, that you inspected the perimeter while you, Samuels, stayed in the house with Miss Harden. That's correct, stated Samuels. She was extremely upset, of course. I couldn't blame her. She'd just found Miss Flanders' dead body. She kept going on and on about Miss Flanders' eyes, how she'd be having nightmares about them for the rest of her life. "Is that all she said to you about it?" asked Erika. "Yes," Samuels responded. "Bays had gone out to check the perimeter, and it took a while for me to get Miss Harden to stop crying so that I could understand what she was saying. I went upstairs to tape off the inner crime scene area as soon as Detective Kendall arrived." "Did you find anything outside, Bays?" asked Erika. "Some shoe prints and some nosy reporters," said Bays, crinkling his brow in disgust. "I was just about to mark off the area where I found the prints when the 2 reporters and a cameraman came running up to me asking what happened. Next thing I knew, they'd tromped all over our shoe print evidence. I threatened to arrest them for obstruction if they didn't get behind the tape. They unhappily complied." Erika hated reporters. They had absolutely no respect for anything or anyone except themselves and the glory of the story. "Did you ask them how they found out about this so fast?" asked Erika. "Yeah, but all I got was the same standard freedom of the press and we don't reveal our sources bullshit. I did get their names, though, in case you want to question them later." He flipped through the pages of his notebook. "Here we go. Andrea Atkins and Jesse Lane from the local NBC station, and Peter Elliott, reporter from the Indianapolis Star." "Thanks, Bays," said Erika. "I just may have a little talk with them later. Let's get upstairs, Kendall." "Right behind you," said Kendall. "You spent some time with Miss Harden. Do you think she could have had anything to do with this?" Erika asked as they ascended the stairs. "No way," Kendall replied. "She was way too upset. This was definitely a one-man show. A strong man, that is." "You can say that again," said Freeman from the top of the stairs. "Wait until you see what went on up here." "Holy crap," blurted Erika as she approached the bedroom door. "The damn door's off its hinges. This guy used a battering ram or something?" "Damn close," Freeman told her. "Victim must have locked herself in there because he did the same thing to the bathroom door. Snapped the poor girl's neck like a toothpick. Patel said it was quick. She died instantly." "Any signs of sexual assault?" asked Kendall. "Patel still hasn't finished her preliminary exam," stated Freeman. "Let's go ask her." Erika and Kendall followed Freeman around the debris, entering the bedroom cautiously. Erika could see the bathroom door had indeed been smashed in as well. The victim was laid out consistent with someone in a casket. It appeared she was dressed in clothing the killer brought with him. The dress had a flowered pattern and was much too big for the girl. It was definitely not a style someone in their 30s would wear. Her hands were lying on her stomach, holding a single red rose. As they came closer, Erika saw what had caused the look of horror in Felicity Harden's eyes. The killer had used overabundance of makeup on Penny Flanders' face, but it was her eyes which almost caused Erika to heave her lunch. The perpetrator had sewn Penny Flanders' eyes open with some sort of heavy black thread. He had also written "See Me" across her forehead with something comparable to an eyeliner pencil. Erika wondered if this was a message for the victim or for the police. "So what we got here, Doc?" Freeman asked. Dr. Padma Patel, death investigator and forensic pathologist, was just finishing her exam of the body. She was a petite woman who pulled her silky dark brown hair into a tight bun at the nape of her neck. Doctor sighed and shook her head. "There is bruising which occurred before death. The ones on her arms are most likely from the killer grabbing her from the front. See the finger impressions?" she said while pointing. "Then there's some bruising across her chin, like the killer was gripping it." Dr. Patel pointed to the area in question. "There is also bruising on the base of the skull, indicating her head was wrenched. I can feel the broken vertebrae. Further examination in the morgue will give us more details. My guess would be she died due to cervical damage to the neck region." You can see the fingerprints on top of her left shoulder and the imprints on her face, with the thumb impression on her left cheek and the 4 fingers on the right cheek. There may be fingerprints on the body. I'm going to talk to Mark Chatham about having his fingerprint expert check the body before I take her so the evidence is not compromised by transport and refrigeration. I hope her death was quick, commented Kendall. Very, said Dr. Patel. Any suffering would have been prior to death and most likely psychological in nature. He was very strong to have broken down 2 doors, so it wouldn't have been any problem at all for him to kill this small woman. How soon will we be able to get a preliminary autopsy report? Asked Erika. I've got 2 autopsies on the table now, Dr. Patel answered. Unless any more such killings are committed for me to investigate, I should be able to do this one tomorrow morning. I think it will be simple, but you never know. I'll give you a call when I've completed it. Was there sexual assault? Asked Erika. There may have been, but I must examine the body thoroughly in order to say for sure. Thanks, Doc, said Freeman. Oh yeah, one more thing. Make sure our victim's special features are kept secret. We don't want the press getting hold of our killer's M.O. Of course, Detective, Dr. Patel said with a smile. As they walked away, Erika nudged her partner, speaking in a low tone. How come she lets you call her Doc? She has a fit if any of the rest of us does. I guess it's just my charm, Freeman smirked. Yeah, right, Erika retorted. That's why you're still single. Before the last word left her mouth, she knew she'd stung him. Freeman frowned and turned away. A year and a half ago, after the funeral, Mandy Stevenson broke up with him, and he'd been avoiding relationships ever since. This was okay with Erika. In her opinion, he fell in love too hard, too fast. Brent had wanted to marry Mandy, but she couldn't bring herself to marry a cop. Instead, she'd be marrying Dr. Maxwell Thornton next month. Erika was relieved the breakup hadn't affected Freeman's relationship with Mandy's father and their boss, Major Robert Stevenson, commander of the Robbery and Homicide Division. Erika turned to see Mark Chatham, shift supervisor of the crime scene investigation team, entering the room. Hey, Barnes, Freeman, said Chatham. Wow, what a mess. What do we have so far? I hope you brought the troops, responded Freeman. Chatham scanned the scene. Since he kicked in the door, we may find a shoe print on it. Hey, Pirelli, you like jigsaw puzzles? Erika and Brent turned to see a tall woman with shoulder-length chestnut hair and brown eyes approaching. Sophia Pirelli was new to the forensic department. You know I love a challenge, Mark, she said with a smile, pulling on her latex gloves. I just need to figure out the best way to get these pieces back to the lab without further damage. We'll leave it up to you, said Erika. Kendall, you stick around and help Chatham's team. Freeman and I are going to go look for next of kin. Will do, she said. Chatham, when can we get together and go over this crime scene photos and evidence? Asked Erika. The shape this place is in, it'll take at least 8 hours to do a thorough job. I can get you a preliminary report early tomorrow afternoon. Let's say about 1:30. Sounds good, said Erika. Will that work for you, Freeman? That'll work, answered Freeman. I've got to be in court at 9 a.m. tomorrow, but should be out by then. Maybe by the time the meeting's over, the autopsy will be complete. Ready to go downstairs to search the office, Barnes? See you tomorrow afternoon, said Chatham, picking up his camera.